Hi, Angela. Thank you for your question. I knew Carole's work as a solo artist before I began working on the show, but like many people who see the show, I had no idea that she had been such an influential and productive songwriter, not for her own self to sing or perform, but just for other great groups of the time. So that was very influential in my writing of the show. The whole first act becomes about those songs, and we don't even get to the most famous part of Carole, the tapestry part, until Act Two. Thank you for asking. Hi, Felicia. Thank you for your question. I did get to speak with Carole for quite a long time. She came here to my office, which is behind me, and sat on the couch and answered questions for hours and hours and hours, as openly and as helpfully as she could. I think the most difficult conversations for her were the conversations about her life with Jerry Goffin, her writing partner and first husband. She and Jerry had a very complex, loving, productive relationship, but it was a difficult one, and I'm not sure if she had talked about it a lot since those days had passed. So those were very emotional conversations, and they very much influenced what the show became. Thanks for your question. Hi, Maricela. Thank you for your question. It was mostly up to me about the songs, which songs of Carole's and Barry and Cynthia's and Jerry's would go into the show, because I made the decisions as I was writing the script. Once there was a script with all the songs in it, of course everybody wanted to weigh in, our producers and our director and the music team, everybody. But the songs were all chosen by me for their value, not only to the true story, but to the dramatic story I was telling. Thanks so much for your question. Jacob. My initial reaction when I heard that I was nominated for a Tony was the same reaction I had throughout the entire Tony experience. Complete delight, just complete delight. They always say, how did you feel when you found out? Great. I felt great. I don't know why, how otherwise to feel in a case like that. It's not like I thought, oh no, another Tony nomination. It's just, I was quite delighted. So delighted I've stopped framing this properly. There were lots of events, lunches and cocktail parties and things all leading up. And it was so much fun because it was just the culmination of all our work to get there, and so many of the rest of our team had been nominated, which was, of course, very gratifying to me as well. Nikki, thank you for your question. You asked what was the most rewarding part about working on Beautiful, and I can't quite say there was just one most rewarding part, but I'll tell you a couple. To be able to meet and get to know these four songwriters, Carole King, Jerry Goffin, Barry Mann, and Cynthia Weil, whose work I had admired almost all my life, that was a great thrill. And to have them be as wonderful as they were, as helpful and as accommodating and as open as they were, was just a great, great thrill. The other thrilling thing about it was when the show was finished and it was up and we had decided what it was and the audiences were coming, it was really a great joy to be in the back of the theater looking at all those heads, the backs of all those heads as they watched the show and lost themselves in that music and in that story. That was a real thrill, because of course part of the reason you're doing this is to, you hope, make the people who come see it feel the joy that you feel in the material. Thank you for your question. Carolyn, thank you for your question. Yes, the show changed quite a lot once we were actually rehearsing it and then previewing it. Once you have people on their feet, actors on their feet, saying the words out loud, you hear things that just need to be fixed. Some jokes work, some jokes don't work, some songs work in the place they are. It's just different than when you're looking at it on your computer. And then, of course, the second level is when the audience starts to come, the previews and the out-of-town tryouts. And the audience tells you a lot, that you can just feel when they're with you and when they're not with you, and then you have to analyze why they are or why they aren't. Once we opened on Broadway, though, officially opened, then we stopped making changes. There were no changes made for the tours. It was all about, mostly the changes were about tightening the show and making the focus as clear as possible, and making sure that every scene served the song that was in that scene. The show is about a songwriter, and it's about her amazing songs as well as her husband and her friends' amazing songs. The scenes had to set up the songs properly, or the songs weren't given the support that they needed and deserved. So that's what we spent most of our time doing. Thank you for your question.